We got a little worried, sent him to get an MRI, and found out there was a little more there. What did we end up calling it? Yeah, so it was a muscle strain. He'll end up being week to week now. Glad we ended up getting that MRI because there was more to it. So he was about to go out and practice through it because he didn't think it was much, and fortunately got that, and we're able to prevent him from hurting it worse. And then Ayuk, we got that back yesterday from what we thought at first. Considered it good news. Could end up just being a mild strain, but he'll be week to week also with his hamstring.
And Kyle, what about D Ford?
D Ford had calf irritation. He's had it the last couple of days. Went through it 2 days ago, and then yesterday came out for warm-ups, and it was just a little bit too tight, so we didn't want to risk it 2 days ago, and then we gave him today off for it also. So he's day-to-day with it. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
Hey, Kyle, did you expect Deebo back anytime during this week's set of practice, or what's his timetable on when you expect him back to practice?
And we're still hoping he can get back for week one, so no, I don't expect him back this week. We're still hoping on week one, but not sure.
Hey, Kyle, Jimmy was in there at the end for 12 plays in a row. Is that something you're just trying to get him up for more snaps or anything in particular with that kind of, increased reps?
Yeah, it's more. It's just sometimes it's tough for the quarterbacks because we got to take down the reps a lot for our team, just trying to get them through practice and some of the positions we're short at. Where quarterbacks, they don't have to run quite as much, and they definitely aren't hitting anyone in each play. So when you take down the reps for the whole team, it ends up helping the team but hurting the quarterback. So he stole CJ and Nick's reps there in the red zone today. So I think he ended up getting like 6 extra because of it.
Hey, Kyle, the other day, some of the guys said you guys watched a Super Bowl film together for the first time. Trent Williams said he could feel the cringing in the room. Can you just talk a little bit about that experience and what you think they got out of it?
Yeah, it wasn't just a Super Bowl game. It was more, I was just showing them stuff on like gotta have it situations where if you don't make this play in offense or defense, the game's over. And we tried to resemble that in practice and put it through it where we had 10 plays that were kind of like that. And I just brought it up after because we didn't do that great in those periods. And I brought up clips throughout the year on what gotta have it situations are. And it wasn't just a Super Bowl. It went throughout the whole year and showed why you win games and why you lose games. And a number of clips came up in the Super Bowl, and those are a lot harder to watch because everyone knows how that ended. But there were some good ones and bad ones on both ways that went throughout the year, and we were pretty good in those situations throughout the year. But in the 3 games that we lost, you can see we didn't make those plays.
Kyle, what did you see out of Jordan Reed today? And looked like he had a pretty good first team practice out there, especially in one-on-ones.
Yeah, it was his first time out there in a while, so, he's been doing really good on the side. We wanted to ease him back in today. We just gave him a couple routes in one-on-one, gave him a couple plays in team, not too much. It was more just to get him out there. When you're not out for a while, you kind of got to go out and get your first practice in, take that monkey off your back, and hopefully he accomplished that today from his standpoint mentally. But physically, I thought he looked real good.
Sorry for asking another injury question. Raheem Mostert, what's his status?
No, that was just giving him a vet day. We, sometimes, especially with some of our vets here, I try not to have those guys go 4 days in a row. It is very hard with the situation of not having the amount of players and what we have to get in before the 13th. But Raheem definitely earned that, and we just rested him today.
Yeah, Kyle, I'm sure you were kind of anticipating this, but the club announced today that there would be no fans, at least for the first game of the season. And I'm just curious as to your perspective on what kind of challenge that'll present, what you think it'll be like, and if there's been any resolution on what kind of noise there's going to be piped in.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but I also understand it. There's a lot of adjustments that everyone's got to make in how the world is right now. So I totally understand it, but it's not going to be that fun. You love having the stands in there. The fans in there. They pump you up. You hear the noise, whether you're watching on TV or in there in person. So, it's a little unusual for me watching basketball and baseball right now, just seeing how it is without fans out there. So we'll have to go through it too, just like the other sports have. Hopefully it won't last. Hopefully eventually we'll be able to get our fans in there. But it's a challenge everyone's dealing with, and I can sit and think about it a lot, but ready to see how it ends up being different and what the pluses and minuses are to it, and being ready to adapt and change when we figure that out.
Hey, Kyle Posey, Niners Nation. I was wondering, when you're working out receivers, what's a trait that you're looking for? Because it seems like the 4 guys that you brought in today all offer something different.
I mean, you just want to bring in guys that, I mean, when you have guys go down, you always want to bring in a person who can go out there and line up, who can, from a mental standpoint, can learn it in a quick amount of time, so we can throw them in there and so we can take some reps from the other guys. And also, when you're going to do that with someone, you also want someone capable of making the team. And when it's a receiver, you can make it any way possible. You just want some NFL traits. So whatever our guys are looking for, whether it's quickness, size, hands, there's all different ways that you can use guys. So I always just hope we bring in what I call NFL players, guys who have the ability to play in this league, guys who have the ability to make a team, and then you find out what they do best, and you see if that's good enough to get on the field.
Hey, Kyle, it's like Tavon Austin is becoming a little more noticeable. Is that a function of him just getting more comfortable with the offense, getting more snaps, a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I think both. I mean, he came in late, so he's behind the 8 ball at first, with all the different opportunities and places you can move in our offense. The more he learns it, the more he can get thrown in there at all 3 of the positions. And when you have injuries and stuff, that does give you more opportunities at all 3 spots instead of just one. I think he's getting a lot better at that with more reps, just like all of them are, with the more reps that they get. But Tavon's a very talented player who moves very well, and I think he gets better and better each day for us.
Al, are you guys planning any practices in the stadium? I know some teams are doing that just to get guys acclimated to game day situation.
Yeah, we're going to – I don't even know what day it is, but we go in 4-day increments. So today was our first day back. So the 4th practice this week, what is that? Friday. Friday we'll be in the stadium. So I don't expect it to be much different, but it gives all our guys a chance to go through the process of what you do on the preseason. Our video guys have the tablets out there and stuff like that just to make sure they're working all the pictures that we used and just stuff that kind of – us coaches take a little for granted. We just expect it to work when we get out there. But there's a lot of trial and errors that you go through in the preseason game that we won't be as patient for in week 1. So it gives those guys a chance to do that. And hopefully we'll have some clarity with the noise and stuff, and we can experiment with how we want to do that too.
Hey, Kyle, with Earl Thomas being available, was there interest on your part, and how happy are you with the safeties you have on your roster currently?
I'm real happy with our safeties, and no, I mean, nothing against Earl, but there was an interest just because we have our team. We have the guys that we want at our spot, and this is how we planned it, and we got some good competition there too with the guys that have been behind them, and we're excited about our group.
Kyle, last week when talking about Ayuk, you mentioned how important it was for him to get all of these reps. Now, obviously hitting a speed bump here. What's your frustration level, just given the fact that now Ayuk and Deebo are missing these practice reps? And what would be your message to Ayuk in terms of how to navigate these next few weeks while he deals with this injury?
Yeah, I mean, you get frustrated a little bit when it happens, but it's just happened too much to me that over your career as a coach that it's just part of the game. So you can't sit there and dwell on it. You try to look at, was anything done wrong or anything like that, and not at all. I mean, Ayuk's been in great shape. He's working his tail off out there, and sometimes that stuff just happens going through a training camp. That has been the challenge, just this training camp not being quite as long, so it doesn't leave much room for error with that type of stuff. But I mean, it happened to Bosa last year when you got guys who come in prepared. That gives them a chance when they don't get all these reps. If Ayuk didn't come in the way that he did come in, he'd be screwed now with an injury. That's what's been cool about him, that he's given himself a chance to overcome something like this. I think we got pretty good news with it because we thought at first it was a bad pull and it ended up just being a mild one. So hopefully it's only 1-2 weeks, and when it is, that we'll have to give him some time to come back. But he can't check out while he's rehabbing, which how he's been, I'm not worried about that. He's going to stay into it mentally and stuff, but no matter how mentally you stay into it, when you hear it in the huddle and you go out there full speed, it's a little bit harder. So hopefully he'll get some time, probably about 10 days, hopefully, before we get back to Arizona, and we'll be able to catch him up then.
All right, thanks. That's it.
All right, guys, thanks.
Chris Biederman from the Sacramento Bee.
Hello.
You had mentioned last time we spoke to you that Jordan Reed was one of the best route running tight ends in the league. I'd assume while learning Kyle Shanahan's offense, you had watched a lot of cut-ups of Reed. What is it about his route running that you studied and you tried to incorporate into your own game?
The best thing that Jordan does is he really gets up on guys quick, and he's very explosive when he's in and out of his cuts. He doesn't really waste a lot of time moving, and then he uses his speed as his advantage. He doesn't waste time trying to hand fight with the guy. He just usually uses his speed and runs around him. And then when the guy does get too close, he's really good with his feet, with his double move and getting 2 feet in the ground to, adjust and react. And he does that really well. But it's really just his explosiveness that I think is way better than anyone else.
Hey, George, Jake Hutchinson. It seems like you and Fred Woerner have had a lot of battles in camp so far. What's that been like, and has Fred improved from your perspective as a pass defender?
Definitely had a lot of battles with Fred, both pass game and run game. Fred's the heartbeat of that defense. He's the quarterback of them. It's been really fun. He has gotten a lot better. I remember my rookie OTAs. I had a route on him, cooked him a little bit, and I was like, that's what you get for being a rookie. And now he's definitely guarding those routes. He's reacting to all those plays, and you can really tell how far he's come. And he's an incredible linebacker. He was in my opinion, a Pro Bowl linebacker last year, and I think he's going to be better this year. So just being able to play against him every single day makes me a better tight end. So it's just really fun to have something like that on my team.
Hey, George, I want to ask you about yards after catch. Obviously, I know you didn't get a ton of chance to do that in college, but it's quite an emphasis in San Francisco. I'm curious how often you guys talk about it in the tight end room, and what are some of the things that have enabled you to be so successful with that?
Well, yak starts with your drop step after you catch the ball. It's just yak's really kind of a mindset. You're not going to luck into it. You got to catch the ball. You have to have the mindset to get vertical and get downhill as fast as possible. That's one thing that Coach Shanahan talks about every single day. Every single time he talks to the offense, he talks about drop step. Every time you catch the ball, get vertical. Don't try to juke someone out. Everyone in the NFL is coming to hit you, so get vertical as fast as you can. Split 2 defenders. It's something that we talk about every single day. As an offense, in the tight end room, we talk about it. I'm not out there. I'm not trying to juke anybody out. I'm either trying to run through somebody or split 2 guys. And, that's a lot with Embo and just his mindset and his mentality. And he's, that's rubbed off on, the tight end room. And I kind of think the whole offense has learned how to do that. Deebo really, really excelled at that last year. KB had one against the Rams on a 3rd and 16. That's a drop step. And, that's where we get our yak from. Hi, Jennifer. I can't hear you.
I know, they didn't let me unmute. So have you changed parties now? You have Bosa as your running mate?
If Jimmy's has options, I guess I'll have options as well. But this seems like a strong suit for me. You got quads of the century, so I think this will be a good running mate.
Good. Also, Charlie Woerner has been involved in the ones. What have you seen from him since, his growth coming into the system? And then you taking on kind of a leadership teaching role. What have you taken from that?
Really, Charlie's come a long way, really fast. And, it's really incredible. He picks up the offense really quickly. He knows what he's good at, and he does his best to excel at those things. He's really good in the run game. We're working on his footwork, which is something that everyone has to work on when you get the NFL because it's just different. But he has the right mindset. Every time he's out there, he's trying to get better. He's trying to improve every single snap, and you can see that. And it's a great energy and it's a great vibe to have, in the tight end room. And every single day he's improved from really day one that I've been working with him. I can tell how far he's come, and I can also tell that he has a long way to go. But just the improvements that he has made has been really fun. And just being a leader in the tight end room, I always try to be a leader to anybody. But having, Charlie, who kind of reminds me of myself, excels at the run game and is figuring out the pass game stuff. I will say I think he's farther along than I was as a rookie, especially in the run game. He is a strong dude with some thick hands when he gets them on people. So he's going to be a really good player for us. I'm just excited to watch his evolution.
Yeah, George, Jerry McDonald from the Bay Area News Group. The team announced that there wouldn't be fans at the opener, and I don't think that comes as any great surprise. But I just want to know your reaction, given that you seem like a guy that feeds off the fans, and what you think that's going to be like, and if you've been watching baseball and basketball without them.
it is what it is at the end of the day. Playing with fans, that's how I grew up playing football. That's how I grew up playing sports. If they say there's not going to be fans, then we're just going to have to play with it, and we're just going to have to work on it. I know I played in JV games on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. where my mom was the only person in the stands, and so I could play then, and that's what football is. You can play wherever you are, no matter what the time is, no matter the location. And so I think we have a great team that will rise up to that challenge, and I kind of think that whoever gives off the best energy, every single game as a team, will definitely have an advantage week in and week out.
Hey, George, I think a storyline, I'm not sure if it's accurate, is that the Niners are maybe more serious-minded this year, just given the fact that the way last year ended, maybe last year you're naive and just kind of enjoying the ride. I mean, obviously, based on your shirt and mask, there's still room for grab ass. But, I mean, is there any truth to that? I mean, is there kind of a more serious-minded vibe, or just, I don't know what I'm searching for. Is it different this year just because of the way last year ended?
Yes and no. I think what I've learned, every single year I've been in the NFL, I think it's gotten a little bit more serious, and I get that. I mean, jobs are at stake, year in, year out, and if you don't win, you end up not being in the same place. And so, I think, there's always pressure to win in the NFL. There's pressure week in and week out. But for me, I still always remember that we're playing a kids game at the end of the day, and it's my dream, and so I just attack it every single day, and I try to be the best player that I can be. And I think our team has that mindset. I think that we have kind of grown. I think we have matured. But our team mindset still, go out there, we're going to have fun, but we're also going to outwork everybody that we go against. And I think if we keep it like that, it doesn't really matter how serious it gets, but we're still going to have fun out there.
Hey, George, it's David Lombardi.
Hi, David.
I wonder if you could rewind to 2017 Indianapolis, that final drive. I think you caught 4 passes for 70 yards, and you tied the game. To me, just as an observer, it seemed kind of a coming of age moment for you. Do you look back on that drive as kind of a turning point during your rookie season?
Yes and no. It was a game that Coach Shanahan called my number, and I had to take advantage of that opportunity, and that's all I did. I wouldn't say it's a turning point because I had a lot of really bad plays that game. Trust me, I've watched the film multiple times, and I had a lot of bad games after that. But it was definitely a confidence booster. Getting a call on 4th down, like, hey, you got to score here, or else we're not going to tie the game to push it to overtime. And then being able to complete that, definitely it's a boost to your confidence. And it was, I think, you could say it was, one of the first big steps in my career. But every play is a big step, but that was definitely a game that I'll always remember because it was a fun game, and 70 yards in one drive is pretty fun. I guess you could definitely say that, David.
George, what's the oddest or strangest request you've gotten from somebody since you've signed your contract?
Someone Venmo requested me so they could buy a new HD TV so they could watch Jimmy G's Chin Line on Sundays. I said that's not my problem. Thank you for asking, though.
Hey, George, what can you tell me about how you got hooked up with Chef Dave and what he was able to do for you this offseason?
Chef Dave? How do you know Chef Dave?
I know people.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. I know you.
I'm kidding. Chef Dave, he was at the high school that my dad worked at last year. Works with a lot of players, a lot of NFL guys in Nashville. Started using him for breakfast and dinner. He actually spent 2 weeks in Texas with my family cooking for them a couple of months ago. So just becoming a family friend, becoming a chef for me. Cooks incredible food day in and day out. And might have him out here to cook for me during the season because I like what he makes.
Hey, George, you talked a couple weeks ago about your family about your family and, always having their support. And I saw yesterday you did something with your sister, Emma, who's obviously been a big part of your training regimen. Can you just talk a little bit about that and what it's been like to be able to marry the two?
It's really fun. I think one thing I tried to, emphasize in the offseason is just trying to learn something or trying to add something that can give me an advantage or an upper hand. One thing I learned, I think it was a year and a half, 2 years ago, is that, how much yoga and just that, kind of the mental side of that, the meditation side of it, how much it can help. And for me, I think, everybody in the NFL is a really good football player. Everyone's a really good athlete. Everyone was All-American or Heisman winner. So, what gives you the advantage? And to me, it's, what's above the shoulders, just your mindset and how you talk to yourself. And so having that and, she's worked with me on that. My dad's worked with me on that. So being able to integrate that into my off-season routine has been pretty special because, it's kind of a family ordeal. And the fact that I got to do a Nike thing with my sister and, do 2 yoga classes that are, available to, high school students, college students, football players, it's pretty special. And it's another step in, the right direction for us as a family, being able to, share our knowledge. And it's just really fun for me to be able to do something like that with my sister.
Thank you, George.
See you guys.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Am I good
Hey,
to
Lakin,
go?
Kyle Posey, Niners Nation. Can
Hey,
you hear
man,
me?
how you doing?
Doing well. I was just wondering, how do you guys think the offense? How do you think the offense has done the first week of camp, and then where do you guys think you can improve so far?
I think the offense is doing a really good job of getting everybody on the same page. We got a lot of vets in the room, so it was kind of a lot easier, for us to get all on the same page, just operating on the offense on the first team standpoint. But I think we're doing a really good job there. You just got to keep pushing the consistency, and, I think we'd be good to go.
And this is Chris Biederman from the Sacramento Bee. Trent Williams said that based on the film, you probably deserve Pro Bowl or even All-Pro consideration. Do you feel that way? Is recognition something that you would like to be a part of your goals for 2020?
I think every player has that, in the back of their heads as a goal, and it just feels good to, get that recognition, from a teammate, from a highly respected teammate. And I set high goals for myself, and I try to achieve them every year. And you just know that you're gonna get my best every year.
Hey, Lakin, it's David Lombardi. Javon Kinlaw's been very open about the fact that he still is a very raw pass rusher. We obviously know he's really strong, but he's saying that he's trying to improve every day. I'm wondering if you could take me through what you first gleaned from your first matchup with him during camp, and maybe how that might have evolved up until now, if he is in fact improving every day.
Oh man, yeah, he is improving a lot. Every day is a battle with him, and he's a guy that he can take coaching, and Coach Chris, he's on him, Coach Shanahan's on him, and he's a very humble guy, but he goes out there, he gives it all, and you can see it on film. That he's learning and he's adjusting to the speed, and he's doing a good job. Just going against me and learning how to play the level that we expect him to play. But I think he's doing a really good job right now. He's showing up a lot and giving us problems. So I think he's going to be all right.
Hey, and just regarding Kinlaw, he said, I guess we talked to him last week. He said you wore him out one day. It does seem like you've had a fair amount of success, but those are some serious collisions that are going on. What is it like to keep making that type of contact with Javon?
I talk to him every day after practice. On stuff that that he can do, and he's trying to study me as a player, and he's trying to beat me every day. So it's really cool. When he puts his mind to something, then he really goes out there and really tries to work on it, and he really tries to accomplish it. And you see that on tape. And he's a big fella. He's a specimen, man. Like he goes out there, big person to move, and especially when he gets going, he's a force. He's a force to be reckoned with.
Hey, and it's Jennifer. There's been a lot of talk about the exterior of your line. What has been going on the inside? I know with Weston kind of coming back, not yet. What have you seen on your other side?
I see guys battling, man. I see Tom out there battling every day. Dan is our center right now, and he's battling every day. These guys, obviously, we have the past couple of weeks to have those guys work in, and Dan's doing an awesome job playing center, keeping everybody on the same page, and we're rolling, man. We're out there working hard every day, trying to get better every day.
Hey, and Jake Hutchinson. I know DJ Jones he's largely lined up over center, but he worked on his pass rushing moves over the summer, and it seems like he's getting a lot more confident with that rip move. What have you seen from him, and does he look like a much more confident pass rusher to you?
I definitely think that he's definitely improved in that sense. That's really kind of just letting it go and using his power and speed to his advantage. And you always want to see that in a guy like DJ. He's a very strong, powerful guy, the line of scrimmage. But when he can put that outside, especially rush for a 3 technique, that just goes to show like how much he's been focusing on improving in the offseason.
Lakin, speaking of DJ, you had the block on him last week where you guys went to the ground, and when you got up, you looked pretty upset with yourself, at least from where I was standing, because he was hurt. What could you take us through what was going through your head in that moment, and how hard is it as a football player to balance the doing what you need to do to maybe finish a block, but also trying to protect your teammate in a practice situation?
You know, football is a violent game, and obviously you don't want to do that to your teammates, and I was down, after that. DJ's my boy. I talk to him every day, and when somebody that that you consider a really close friend of yours go down like that, you don't ever want to see that, especially when you're responsible for that. So I take full responsibility for that. I just got to learn how to practice more, to protect our teammates.
Hey, Lakin, it's Tracy. Can you just talk a little bit about Colton McKivitz and what you've seen from him thus far? Mike McGlinchey called him a blessing to the O-line room, so I just want to get your thoughts on him.
Sorry, could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Wanted to see if you could give your thoughts on Colton McKivitz and what you've seen from him so far.
Colton, he's a really cool kid, man. I love how much he's paying attention in our room, and just a young kid like him coming in and really adjusting to the speed of everything, and really listening to the coaches and talking to the players. I think the one thing that separates him from other rookies, that he really goes out and seek knowledge. And he'll come up to me and talk to me. To come up to Dan, talk to Dan. Go out, talk to McGlinchey. He's constantly trying to steal knowledge. Really trying to learn the nuances of our offense. And when a young guy, you see something like that in a young guy, that he's really working hard to really kind of get to the standard that we're trying to be at.
Last one.
Yeah, Lake and Jerry McDonald from the Bay Area News Group. The team announced today that there wouldn't be fans at the opener, and I'm sure that doesn't come as a great surprise. But is there an advantage to be had for a team that can kind of create its own energy in this environment?
Man, that's a tough one. It's going to be weird, not having the fans out there, and I'm not really sure what that really means for like the speakers and stuff that they're gonna really. I'm not really sure what they're gonna do with that, so I can't really comment too much on that. It's gonna be different, for you're not gonna have like that home field energy and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, if that's the safest thing that that they think that's for us, I fully support it.
Thank you, Lakin.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Hey, this is Chris Biederman from the Sacramento Beat. You know that Kyle Shanahan last year said you were the best player on offense throughout training camp, and said you're getting close to that level this summer. Where do you think you are in terms of how close you are to getting back to that level? And overall, is there anything? Do you still feel the foot at all, or is it completely healed at this point?
Yeah, I think it's completely healed at this point. We're what are we, like halfway through training camp? I don't know, but I mean, it still feels just as normal as it did day one. So it's been holding up great. Everything feels great, and yeah, I feel like my old self again. But at the same time, there's still a lot of stuff that you gotta get yourself back, thinking about and getting the reps at it. Just little things that come with our offense that you got to get back used to doing, and the only way to get back into it is to just get as many reps as possible without, obviously, without just completely wearing myself out at the same time. So it's trying to find the balance of that and just trying to get back into it, get as much reps as possible and everything that I need to get back used to. And yeah, it's going good so far, I think.
Hey, Trent, Mike McGlinchey was saying the other day you guys sat and watched the Super Bowl as a group for what he thought was the first time, and you could feel the cringe in the room. As a guy who wasn't able to play in that game but was there, what kind of emotions does the Super Bowl elicit from you as someone who wasn't playing but missed on the opportunity?
Yeah, it's tough. It was tough for me watching those Super Bowl clips, and I wasn't even on the field, so I can imagine what those guys were feeling like watching it. I mean, being there at the Super Bowl, I was emotional myself, just that I wasn't able to play out there on the field, and that it was because of something that was out of my control. But yeah, those are never fun clips to look back at, no matter who you are in this organization. So, but it's something that you just gotta take it on the chin, and you gotta figure out what you can learn from it and how you can never put yourself in that experience again, and to be just more prepared for the future.
Hey, Trent, it's Jennifer. When Wes Welker first became part of the staff, there was kind of a lot of talk about how vital he could be for your growth, being in a similar position, doing the same kind of things on the field that you might do. How has that relationship grown, and what are some of the things that you've learned from him?
It's been great having him, honestly. The conversations that we have are the type of conversations that almost no one else on this earth could teach me and have that conversation with. But the type of knowledge that he has in that position that I'm in this offense, I mean, there's nothing better I could ask for than to have him on my side and to tell me how to think and how to look at things and how to run certain routes. So, yeah, it's been a tremendous help.
All right, thanks, Trent.
Thank you.